Good morning, boys and girls, students of Dhamma classes, parents, grandparents, teachers of Dhamma classes, and all youth members. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. We are going to have a presentation that is titled, It's Good Character. That's what will matter. Now, this is an important presentation because it pertains to moral values. And this is particularly suitable for secondary students, students of Dhamma classes, and all youth members. But the adults can also follow, parents, grandparents, because they are guiding the young ones in moral development. Now, the presentation has the text in English and Malay, but the narration and explanation will be in English. So, now we will launch the PowerPoint, but before that, let me check the setup once again to ensure that it is okay. All right. And now let us launch the PowerPoint. Now you can see the cover slide. Once again, as I say, the title is Good Character, That's What Will Matter. Many people forget this, that character is a very, very important thing. But people now place emphasis on academic achievements, money, fame, popularity, and they forget that eventually it is character that will count. And you will see as we go along the various slides and also the important quotations made by famous people with regard to the issue of character. Now, so you can see here, to illustrate young ones who have very good characters and moral values. So now let us go on to slide number 2. Now let me read the quotations of the famous people and then I can comment and give you some important Dhamma points. Good character is more to be praised than outstanding talent. Most talents are, to some extent, a gift. Good character, by contrast, is not given to us. We have to build it piece to piece by thought, choice, courage, and determination. Quite a long quote, huh? But anyway, let us scrutinize this quote. Now, you see, when you compare character and talent, good character is much, much more important. A person may be talented in music or in sport or in writing and many other talents. But if his character is not good, he will not achieve success and happiness and peace. He might even get into trouble because of bad character traits. And I think you have seen this in the world of actors and actresses, or maybe great pop singers, very, very talented, isn't it? But you see, some do not have good characters and they do not have the Dhamma to the extent that despite all the fame and wealth, they are not peaceful and happy. They cannot get along with people well and they get into sort of depression. And many even commit suicide. So realize that it's very important to develop our moral values, our character. And this is not something that comes from the sky, or heaven. You have to develop it piece by piece through the way you think, through the way you speak, and then what choices you have to make, your determination to improve, and your courage. And this you have to learn. from your religion, or for Buddhism, you have to follow the Dhamma. Then you find the character is developed and you get many, many benefits. Now we need to move on because the presentation has 22 slides. So now let us go on to slide 3. Character is like a tree and reputation like a shadow. The shadow is what we think of it. The tree is the real thing. I have actually posted some time ago about reputation and character. Now, a person may have very good reputation, very popular, but the character is something deeper, more profound. You know, he compares here in the quote, a tree and the shadow. The real thing is the character. The shadow is, not as important, isn't it? It's not really solid. So reputation is what people think of you. You may create a reputation, but not really reflecting your true character. You just pura-pura lah, right? Whereas the real thing is the character, the values that you hold inside you. So, very important is have a good reputation. A good character. If you have a good reputation with a good character, it's very good lah. But if you have a very poor character, but you are very popular and you seem to be very famous, but this is superficial, right? So you come to this point that essentially the most important thing is still character. The values that you hold, your righteousness, your morality, these are more important rather than how popular am I, how famous am I, what people think of me. Sometimes, in order to practice your good morality, you may find this a challenge. People do not like it, but then you stand firm and you are morally upright, and that's what counts in the end. So that is this important point. And this quote is by the famous US president who abolished slavery, Abraham Lincoln. Now let us go on to slide number 4. You can tell more about a person by what he says about others than you can by what others say about him. That is good quote. Now you see, you want to know more about a person, you have to interact with him, right? And get to know what he always says, what he does, and then if possible also to try to find out what actually he has in his mind. Then you know the person well, rather than hearing what other people say about him. Of course, that is also important, but it is sometimes not accurate. People, may praise one person through the wrong reasons, or maybe that person has helped him, or that person is wealthy and always gives him the treat, so he doesn't say anything critical of him. But the person that you are interacting with, if he is the type that always talks bad about other people, he lies about other people, right? And then he sort of say not good things, malicious speech, right? So he slanders other people, or he gossips, or he uses rough words and terrible things on another person, accusing that person of certain things that person might not have done, you see. So you see, what he says about other people can tell about his character, that he's impatient, that he holds grudges, he has enemies, and he's bad-tempered, and he's not forgiving, can tell a lot through his speech and also actions. So this is an important point to consider. So if you want to find good friends, you have to really interact with the people whom you want to befriend, and then find out more about him through what he speaks and what he does. That's the most important thing. Rather than asking his friends, because his friends might have got certain things from him already, so obliged to say all the good things. So that is a very important point to consider also. So we come to this point about character, knowing the character of a person through his speech about others, right? And also his actions actually. Now let us move on to the next slide, which is slide number 5. Now, slide number 5, let me read the saying. We aim to develop physique, mentality, and character in our students. But because the first two are menaces without the third, the greatest of this is character. Now, let me explain this a bit. Now, you have 3 points here we have to consider. Physique will be the physical development, the psychomotor skills, maybe your physical build, right? To grow your muscles or to grow your physical abilities, and then also your intellectual capacity, things pertaining to your thinking, right? Your knowledge, your mental skills, and all those things. And the last one pertains to what we call the EQ, which means the character, the emotional quotient. What are your values? You know, how helpful are you? How generous are you? How loving are you? How compassionate are you? All those things. So these 3 things have to be developed through. In education, we have the cognitive, that means the thinking aspect, and then the mental development, intellectual, and then the psychomotor, your bodily skills, your muscles, and so on, development. And then the last part, the affective education, pertains to your character, right? Your emotions, your feelings, your spiritual qualities. All these are very important. So that's why this quotation says, if you have very, very good health, very beautiful bodies, muscular, bodybuilder, and you are also very clever, intelligent, but you are of terrible character, it can be dangerous because that person can use his intelligence, use his strength for harming other people or to harm other people. And in history, you have heard of this sort of thing. Even you find the terrorists, the IS, for example, some of them are very intelligent, and they are very brave and they are very strong, but wrong views. And with the wrong views, you find they have lopsided values, They can even resort to killing or hurting or torturing other people. So you find the greatest is still character. The first two, that is your physical aspect, and then your mental aspect, they can be dangerous if you don't have the character, which means you don't have the proper moral values, as I've given you the example of terrorists. And this character development is just not through books. Of course, you have political moral, you learn all these things. But the important thing is you must put into action, Of course, you have good things being written. You know about the proper moral values. Even Dhamma also, you have the theory. But theory without action is blind. You see? So you need 2 things. So this only show one aspect with me to learn from the books. I have to emphasize, you need the practice, right? So that is number 5. Now let us go on to number 6. Number 6 slide. Any fool can criticize, condemn, and complain, but it takes character and self-control to be understanding and forgiving. And this actually was said by one very famous motivator, Dale Carnegie. He has written many books. You can check up on the internet. Now, some people, they only criticize, they only condemn, complain, and curse, what we call the 4 C's. 4 C's, complain, criticize, condemn, curse. But the character is not good. He doesn't have good self-control. He is not understanding of the situation and other people. And he is very, very self-centered, and he is very unforgiving. He doesn't forgive other people for their mistakes when he himself also makes the mistakes. And the worst thing is, he knows how to criticize and condemn and complain, but he doesn't do anything positive to change the situation, isn't it? So you see how important character is in order to effect good changes. Like if this person has a good character, not only will he complain and criticize constructively, but he will take action to help to solve the problem, isn't it? To help the people who have trouble. He can criticize to point out the weaknesses, but he has good intentions. He wants to let the other people improve. But then he himself also takes the action to remedy the situation, to end the problem or trouble, right? So don't be just an armchair critic, sitting there, criticize, complaining everything, but because of your selfishness and your lack of metta and dana heart, then you don't do anything, right? In fact, you may even do the bad things, right? So that is a very important aspect of education, right? Boils down to development of the character again. All this you can learn from theory. These two girls, they read a lot, everything is very good, but must remember to put into practice. If you don't put into practice, then it's useless, you see. All right. Now let us go on to slide number 7. Now what is slide number 7? Now slide number 7, given, the quotation is given by President Eisenhower, one of the famous US president, Dwight Eisenhower. Now, what did he say? The qualities of a great man are vision, integrity, courage, understanding, the power of articulation, and profundity of character. Quite difficult to understand this quote. So let me explain. Now, what is a great man? Do not think that the great man is the greatest pop singer or the greatest actor. That is not the greatest man, right? So greatness is something very unique. A great person has influenced humanity for the better, has brought good things to the world, to the people on earth, and has helped our environment and so on. That is greatness. Like a great scientist, for example, or maybe Nobel Prize winners for medicine and so on. They are great. They have discovered something or given something to benefit other people, not the people who entertain you only. They are also good people, but they are not considered great. Now, what is this quality of vision? Now, the vision is the ability to think and plan for the future with wisdom. So good leaders, great people, they have this vision. They are able to think smartly, to plan for the future, and in a very wise way. These are people of vision. Integrity, I think you know. Honesty, stick on to moral principles. No cheating, no lying, no swindling. They're people of integrity. Now today, very difficult to find also. I posted just recently a story about this honesty and integrity. And then courage, Courage doesn't mean, you dare to be rampant or jump down from the cliff. That is stupidity, right? Courage, you stand up for your moral principles. Even though many are going against it and they try to influence you, but you have the moral courage to stand firm. This is a great thing. This is a quality of a great person. If he's not great, then, he lambad, no backbone, can be swayed here and there. He doesn't have the courage to stand firm to the good principles that he actually holds. He can be easily influenced. And then he must understand the situation well with wisdom. He must understand other people. And he has the power to speak clearly and write clearly. That is articulation. The power of speaking well, clearly. And then, of course, a very important thing, the last point, profundity of character. Now, profundity means very great depth. He has wisdom actually. He has insight or knowledge into very important things. We say a profound character, right? There is wisdom there. There's insight into the knowledge of people, character, understanding many things. That is profundity. So now you see, it's not easy to be a great person. And one of the important things is character. You can't run away from that. And you have the other qualities, right? So again, these two, great readers, very good, very knowledgeable, but make sure that they put this into practice. Now let us go on to slide number 8 now. There have been many people who said this sort of thing, right? But this source says unknown because we don't know who was the one that first said it. Watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. Now, let me explain this. Now, in the Dhammapada, one of the important Buddhist scriptures, Buddha said that mind is the forerunner of all things. All things, right, that you do or you speak have their start in the mind, You think the thoughts, So if you have lousy thoughts or bad thoughts, evil thoughts, then you can also speak terrible things in it that hurt other people, harm other people, cause trouble, fights. So you have to watch your thoughts because they can be translated into speech or words or what you write also. So very important. First thing is the thoughts. And then also, you have to be careful and be mindful of what you speak and what you write. Because from the speech, then it can lead on to the action. It's just like a person, very angry already, scolding another person, and the other person also hits back. Then from the words become a fight, an action already. Very terrible, isn't it? So you see, one can lead to the other. And then watch your actions. For example, a person in the habit of taking things not given, or maybe worse still, shoplifting, going to the supermarket and take the things and put in the bag. So you constantly do this and becomes a habit, So very important to watch your action. Like for example, there are many people who are not punctual, always late. So if you don't check this, it becomes a habit. Then people will say, this person, terrible one, always not punctual one. He comes late. So be careful. It can become a habit. Or maybe say you are in the habit, you start off by postponing things, always postponing things, Then it becomes a habit, bad habit. Whereas you must cultivate the good habits like being punctual, doing the work on time, no procrastination, postponing, and then also very good-hearted, spontaneously you can help. So it becomes part of you. Oh, this person very, very good. Without asking also, he helps on, your good habit. And then you, let's say, make it a habit that you want to meditate. Always you do that. So all these are good habits. Watch your habits. Good habits will lead on to good character. And your mind will grow. Bad habits, you will lead on to bad character. Like I gave you the example. The body may grow, but the mind doesn't grow at all. Just like an animal. The mind doesn't grow. The body grows, eats a lot. Bad habit of wanting to eat more and more. So be careful. If you have the wrong habits, the bad habits, they can form your character. Some people have terrible habits. For example, the habit of smoking, the habit of drinking, right? So if you don't check the habits, then become the character. Then the people say, this one, kaki bottle one, this fella, gila perempuan one, so be careful, it becomes your character already. And watch your character. If you realize that, now I have this character, people say that I'm a womanizer, I'm a kaki bottle, or I'm a gambler, I better watch this. Yes, it's good. Then you can change. Even at the character stage, can change your character. The bad character, that is. And that is what Dhamma is about, most important, to change your character for the better, not just to pray to Buddha and Kuan Yin. Because if you don't change your character, then you will be generating, if you have the bad character, like telling lies, drinking, gambling, and then killing animals, hunting, all those things, your habits and your character, they generate the bad karma. So if they generate the bad karma, then they will become your destiny. Destiny, people say your fate, is not a really good word, your fate. No, it is because of your doing. Through your mind, your speech, and your body, you develop that bad karma. And that is the destiny. It means that if you don't watch your character, bad character, you generate the bad karma, then you will get the result, the goal. And that is your destiny. That if you have a bad character and do the bad things now, you will suffer the consequences. You face the music, not only in this life, but also future lives. So that is your destiny. So some people say, I'm born like that, not fair. God, you have made me born stupid or poor. No, this has a cause. Your destiny now, or what you get now, let's say, is actually attributed to maybe previous life that you have not developed your character. You used to steal or kill. So now you face the result. That's your destiny. But can be changed also. Anything is not permanent. You can change. You realize you can change. So this is a very important teaching. All right? Life lesson, a Dhamma teaching. So that is number 8. Now let us go on to number 9 now. Character is power. It makes friends, draws patronage and support, and opens the way to wealth, honor, and happiness. Very, very true. Of course, you know of the saying that knowledge is power. Yeah, knowledge has some power, because if you don't know things, you're ignorant, like kata di bawah tempurung, then you will not be able to do many things. You lack power. But more important thing is character is power. Because a person of noble character, excellent character, you find people are drawn to him. He makes friends, and he can do many positive things that can help other people, that help even the environment and our planet Earth. And they will draw patronage. Now, patronage means support given by a person who gives support. Patrons are people who give support to an organization or to certain people doing good, patron, right? So he can draw the support, the help, right? The great sokongan, that is patronage. Because he's good character. He's responsible. He's trustworthy. He's honest. He has integrity, right? And he has metta. So this one draws the support from people. And the more important thing, you are generating fantastic good karma. And this good karma will give you the benefits, not the praying, not the appealing to the God, but your development of your mind, your character is the one that gives you the rewards and the benefits. It opens the way to wealth. Wealth in terms of physical wealth, happiness, success, fame, honor can come. But be careful, you can fall also. Some people start off very well, and after that they become famous and rich already. The character goes backwards. Greedy, he becomes greedy. So he wants more, so he resorts to unwholesome ways. Be careful of that also. You have to sustain it, maintain it. So this way, then you will have the peace, happiness. Between success and happiness, I've said before, happiness comes first. And through your good character and good Dhamma practice, that the happiness and peace comes, and success, wealth, and other things will follow. Because you do good things, right? You have that important statement we have said many times, good begets good, bad begets bad. Okay? So that is number 9. Now let us go on to number 10. When wealth is lost, nothing is lost. When health is lost, something is lost. When character is lost, all is lost. Oh, very powerful statement. Now let me reflect a bit on this. Now, of course, sometimes you lose your wealth, isn't it? Sometimes, burglars or robbers rob you, or you lose in the Genting casino, or you lose in the share market. You know, sometimes win, sometimes lose. That is quite natural. It really wins, isn't it? So really nothing is lost. In the first place, that doesn't really belong to you. You come into the world with nothing. And you're going to go off later on when you die with nothing also. So really it just comes and goes. So when wealth is lost, really nothing is really lost really. Sometimes gain will come again, richness. And when health is lost, something is lost. Of course, when you lose, a certain degree of your health, you get sick. This also doesn't last. You may get better, right? So something is lost. So you find, wow, dukkha, and then you cannot do more things. But it's not permanent. It can change. You can see a doctor, you can get well. But when you lose your character, which means you lose your moral values, you do not practice morality, you do unwholesome actions. You know what are those bad things? Character is lost. And when character is lost, all is lost in the sense that you are going to reap the bad results. You reap what you sow, which means that you lose that morality, the good character. You will face the music, as they say, or you will face the consequences later on in life. For example, you might have committed a crime and the police will catch up upon you and you will end up in jail, as now you have some famous politicians also in the jail because of scandals, isn't it? Or MDB and all the stuff. So all is lost. And not only in this life, because you have cheated and done bad deeds, unwholesome deeds, then in the next life you'll get reborn into the woeful states, the suffering states. So really all is lost really. So remember that is the most important thing. That is the thing that you carry with you. Your moral values, your karma, the Dhamma that you have learned and ingrained in the mind, all those good things. Those are the intangible things that follow you. Not your wealth, not your houses, or not your cars, or your wives or husbands or none. It's your character that follows you. So when you reflect on this, then you know how important it is to develop that character. But said today, you find I can observe not many realize this. They are more concerned with just getting more and more wealth, famous how many people will check their Facebook, how many likes and then TikTok all those things. So they forget to develop the character, like being more kind, doing more charity work, doing some meditation, and then also developing compassion. They hardly do that, isn't it? So you think and see Now let us go on number 11 now. A good character is the best tombstone. You know what the tombstone is, huh? So when the person dies after, maybe either cremation or burial, let's say burial, you'll be buried 6 feet underground, and then the family members will make a tombstone, the tombstone, carve your name, rest in peace, R.I.P. That's the usual Christian way or they will write the name of the deceased, the photo, and so on, the tombstone. So you see, some people are so concerned with the tombstone, wow, all right, all the words everything, But actually, it's the best. The best tombstone is your character. It's a good character, right? Those who loved you and were helped by you will remember you. All right? That's the important thing. Even though the forget-me-nots are types of plants with the blue flowers again, and they get withered away, right? They know the name of the plant or flower may be forget-me-not, but actually it will wither away and you forget it. So your names and the good deeds are not just shown on the tombstone. They are carved in your heart and the hearts of other people. All right. So your good deeds, your good character, you carry with you on into the next life. And people will think well of you, of the help you have given them, of the good deeds you have done, and not so much. I mean, the person who attached to the tombstone is like a fool. It's not the tombstone, it's the good deeds the person has done. So this is something also worth pondering on. All right, let us now go on to number 12. All right, slide number 12. Good is good and bad is bad. And nowhere is the difference between good and bad so wide and so faithful as in human character. Of course, you can say that this food is good lah, this food is bad lah, this food is not so good lah, this food is not so bad. But the very important thing between good and bad is the character. A good character, that means that person with good character does the wholesome deeds. He avoids the evil actions. That person of bad character will do the evil actions, right? And doesn't do much or he does very little of the good actions. That is the essential difference that can have a great impact, not only in this life, but also in future lives when rebirth takes place. So, it is the character that makes destiny in the individual and in the race. So imagine if a society has all the terrible bad characters, the society will suffer, isn't it? You have more robbers, you have more murderers, you have more rapists, terrible, isn't it? So it's not only affecting an individual, it can affect the whole society, the whole race, the whole nation. If a nation is filled with characters which are really bad, a lot of criminals and a number of people who cheat and so on, then the whole country will collapse, isn't it? So you need people who have good characters, honest, integrity to rule or to govern the country. So now you can see how important is the human character. And in your political moral, you have studied all those values. Theory, you know, no. But the thing is, have you pondered over it? And have you applied it into the daily life so that your character is truly transformed, not just a book knowledge, you can by heart all those things. That is this important point. So that is slide number 12, right? The difference between good and bad character is the most important thing. So when you realize this, then you want to really develop your character. Nobody is perfect until you become enlightened. So there's always room for improvement. And don't look at other people, look at yourself. No bad person is 100% bad. He has some good also. And no good person is 100% good. He has some bad also. When we realize this, then we have a very good attitude. We have compassion for other people. We are forgiving. And we just carry on and develop our character and our mind. Right. So that is this important quotation. Now let us go on to slide number 13 now. Right? It says character isn't something you were born with and can't change like your fingerprints. Maybe we are born with certain fingerprints, or maybe you can say with certain DNA or whatever it is. The character isn't something you were born with. Actually, you are born with certain karmic tendencies, traits, right, from the past. Right? Some they grow up to be, a very violent person, got something to do with it. But that can be changed, So you cannot say, oh, I was born with that terrible character. No, you were born with certain tendencies, yes. But your character is something you hold in your hands. Your destiny lies in your hands. Don't say that it's fated, I was born like that. You can change it. You say it's my karma from the past. That is foolish. Karma is living. You can change it. So remember this, that you can change it. So that's why it's stated here that you weren't born with something fixed. So therefore, we must be responsible. I'm responsible for my character. I'm responsible for the actions that I do, for the words that I speak, for the thoughts that I have in my mind. I cannot say I'm born like that. You are responsible. So when you realize this, then you know we have to take positive steps in order to develop what we think, the good thoughts, in order to develop our speech and in order to develop our actions. So when all these things are developed well, your character grows, your character develops. That is this important message that you have to note. Very important message also, isn't it? Now let us move on to number 14. Now, now it's about parenting. So parents can only give good advice or put them on the right path. But the final forming of a person's character lies in their own hands. Of course, when the child is young, it's very important the parents guide them to mold their character, to give them the proper moral education, moral values, the virtues, and advise them on what is good and what is bad. But unfortunately, today, parents are so busy, not only with their work, but also with the distractions of Facebook lah, or YouTube lah, and now people are so crazy over TikTok lah. So they spend so much time on that. How much time do they have in order to give the children proper moral education? You see, that is this problem now. So when you spend time guiding the children on the right path, then chances are they will develop into good people, good citizens of good characters. But of course, these people, when they go out into society, they can also change. They can be influenced. That depends on, how well they have been brought up in a way, right? Right. So he is trying to, the quotation is trying to tell you that finally, especially when you have grown up already, what happens is actually your own responsibility. Of course, sometimes I've also come across cases where the children, because they were not given the proper parenting and guidance, so they become criminals and so on, end up in jails. So now they're angry with the mother and say, you never taught me all those good Dhamma and everything. So that's how, well, there is some truth in it. All right. So that's why parents have to play the role. But remember that when we are an adult, we must take responsibility. We are responsible for what we speak, what we act, and we are responsible for our thoughts. And the thoughts will dictate the speech and the actions. So this is what the message is now. Right. So the final forming of a person's character lies in your own hands. So you choose whether you want to become a good person or a bad person, or whether you want to go the crooked way of, being greedy and getting the money in the wrong ways, or you want to earn your living in an honest way, and you can also become a millionaire. That is fine, very good, praiseworthy. You never cheat and you never go the wrong way. But today, many people take the easy way. They think it's the easy way, but they don't know there's a price to pay. Even you escape in this life, well, in future lives, because you cheat, you lie, you swindle people, there's a price to pay. So when you get reborn into a woeful state, because of your bad deeds, there's nobody to blame. That you yourself are responsible. That is this very important message. Your life is in your hands. There's one beautiful Buddhist hymn. You can check your life's in your hands. I think that's the song I remember on the Buddhist hymn sung by the Wayfarers. You can check. Very interesting. Now let us go on to number 15. In the stormy current of life, characters are weights or floats which at one time make us glide along the bottom, at another time maintain us on the surface. Now, you consider your life just like, like being in the ocean. Sometimes the waters are calm. Sometimes you have storms. It's the current of life. And how well you can sail through this current of life depends on your character. You find that you know about the 8 worldly conditions. Sometimes times are hard. Sometimes times are easier. Sometimes there is praise, sometimes there is blame. Sometimes there is pleasure, sometimes there is pain. Sometimes you are famous, sometimes you are infamous, not famous anymore. But if your character is very strong and very good, you can embrace all these things, right? Whatever comes down, because your character is very good and you have a very good set of understanding of the Dhamma, what life is all about. What are the moral principles? What are the ways of righteousness? So you see that you have sometimes you find that you need to float on the surface, and sometimes you may be going down, going to the bottom there as you have scuba diving. So you don't complain, but you know how to surf with the waves, right? Don't complain. Why now so many waves are so difficult, everything? That you learn how to surf the waves, ups and downs. So all these will require a good character. Good understanding will require good wisdom. The character development must have with it the wisdom, definitely. Character development must have with it. In fact, all the things that are good must have wisdom. That's why in Buddhism, wisdom is so very important to develop. When you develop the wisdom, naturally, in a way, their character will develop. Because you have the wisdom to know what is good, what is bad, what you ought to do, and what you ought to avoid. The wisdom will tell you, isn't it? So there's a connection. Now, let us go on to slide number 16 now. You're running out of time. Let us not say every man is the architect of his own fortune, but let us say every man is the architect of his own character. Of course, you have heard this saying that you saw, the person is like architect, he builds up his wealth, he builds up his fortune. Yes, in a way, yeah. But that is not the only thing, He might have inherited a lot of wealth from his father, all right? But more important is you are the architect of your own character. The architect, he draws the plans, right? He decides on how the building should come out, how the bridge should take shape, and so on. So likewise, the man is the architect of his own character, which means he builds and develops his character. Not the God, not another person, your teacher, or even your father or mother cannot develop your character. They can give you the guide and advice, but you yourself are the architect. That you develop and grow your own character, and hopefully in the right direction. So you can have lousy architects also, isn't it? Those lousy architects, they may build, they may have a building being built in the end because of very poor architectural plans. So the building collapses. So likewise, if you are a hopeless architect of your own character, your character becomes very, very bad. And in the end, you end up in jail. So that is an important aspect. Now let us go on to number 17 now. Actions, looks, words, and steps form the alphabet by which you may spell character. Now he's just telling you that the character that you are going to have will depend on various factors. Of course, your looks. The looks are not so much of your physical beauty, but your looks is your body behavior. For example, your expressions, that you always have a very gentle look, you are smiling, you are not hot-tempered, and then you have a very kind face, and then followed by your kind speech and by your action. That's how you have the actions and the words. All related, isn't it? So if you have good character, then it also shows up in your face. You are very, very pleasant looking. You are gentle. You always smile and give people a very, very pleasant look. That's one thing. And then because of your good character, right, the words that you use are also very good, very pleasing to people. Aircon speech, as Bhante Suwano said. And then the things you do, you help people, you have metta, and the steps you take in order to bring more happiness, peace, not only to yourself, but to other people. And these are the things that spell out your character, right? That's why I put in this way, the alphabet that spell out character. Actually, it means this, right? Your thoughts, your expressions, your speech, your deeds, and what you perform, how you interact with other people, all these will show your character. That is this thing for you to know. Now, let us go on to number 18 now. Most people say that it is the intellect which makes a great scientist. They are wrong in this character. And this is coming from, you know whom? One of the greatest scientists that ever lived, Albert Einstein. I think everybody would have heard of Albert Einstein. One of the greatest minds, and he has written a lot, about the importance of moral values, the importance of diligence, character, and so on. So he was a fantastic, the greatest probably, the greatest scientist, But then you know what he said? It is not your cleverness of the mind, He, of course, was a very, very clever scientist, highly intelligent. He said that's not what makes a scientist great, It is the character, right? It's the character that makes the scientist great. If the scientist very smart lah, very clever lah, highly intellectual lah, intelligent lah, but he makes the bombs that destroy other people, or he makes a virus that can kill other people, so is he great as a scientist? Definitely not, isn't it? So Einstein really hit something very important. It is the character. Then only you can be regarded as a great scientist. And just now we saw that greatness, it doesn't depend on the other things, but it's character. So not only scientists, but actually all fields. But since Albert Einstein is a scientist, so he's talking about the importance of character. So imagine if a scientist doesn't have character, he can invent terrible weapons as what is happening today. Some people say that even the coronavirus that causes the COVID-19, they say that it's actually man-made, They say it's made in the lab, That also that's possible also, right? People have invented, terrible missiles and bombs and all these things. So are they great scientists? No, they are not great. So Einstein said, it is the character. They must have good values and all this stuff. So again, you see how important character is in everything. So the whole of Dhamma practice is to develop your conduct, right? And your character, your moral values, your mind, all connected. That is what Dhamma is. Not just mere praying and appealing for things to a God, That is not the Dhamma. Now let us move on to number 19. He said character is doing the right thing when nobody's looking. There are too many people who think that the only thing that's right is to get by. And the only thing that's wrong is to get caught. Wow, that sort of attitude and thinking is terrible. Some people say, never mind lah, nobody is watching. Let us take this thing in the supermarket. They think it's okay, But if a person has integrity and good moral character, whether there is somebody looking and there's a policeman around or not, he inside him, he has his conscience, he knows that thing is not correct, he will not do it under all circumstances. Whether you have people around watching, whether the police is coming or not, you will just do so you can be at peace. You can sleep peacefully also, isn't it? So character is doing the right thing when nobody's looking also. But many people say, why so stupid? You can get this, get lah, free of charge one. Then we patat lo. That's how my students used to tell me, they're so rich already. Then I say, you're so rich already, then why you want to take the PPTN loan for university? Brother, you don't know. You take this, you can get more interest, right? Compared to the bank interest, I can save, I can get more money. So which means it's all self-centered. You're so rich already, and yet you take the loan, depriving other people who are poor from the loan, isn't it? So they say, they think that it's okay, you can get by, that means you can go on Important thing he say, sometimes I tell them, hey, you be careful, you are doing something. He say, don't worry, the police is not around. I'm not wearing the helmet. So they think that the only wrong thing is you will get caught by the police. The wrong thing is you're not wearing the helmet. It's not protecting you. That is the wrong thing. Not because the police is not there to is there or not there to catch you or things like that. So you find the right view of things. The wisdom is very, very important. So you see, it's very interesting how people's values have got lopsided already. Right? So some will tell you, yeah, why so stupid? You can get more money through this way, even though dishonest way, right? Why don't you do it? You can fat that, man. And then they say, you see, this is so honest. He's so miserable. Not enough money. And then also get sick. He's very, very honest, very good. Yeah, but he's only seeing from a short span of life only. Yeah, how do you know what is to come when the fellow is growing old, when his person is older? And what is to come in the next life, future life? We all know that all religions talk of a future life. That does not end everything. You can ask all religionists, all religions will tell you, after you die, nothing already. There's still something. It goes on. Of course, like certain religions believe either go to heaven or hell. Buddhists, Hindus believe that you'll be reborn. So there's still something. So you cannot escape the natural law of karma. So you have to be very careful. Now let us go on to number 20. One of the most important lessons that experience teaches is that, on the whole, success depends more upon character than upon either intellect or fortune. That is also something which we have said before in different ways. Now, you see, people think that success comes when we have a lot of money. When I have a lot of money, then I'm very, very successful. Or some people say, oh, he's very, very clever. He goes to the university, he gets so many degrees, he's very successful. But what sort of person is he? The character is so bad, hot-tempered, bully people, quarrelsome, right? Impatient, very self-centered, stingy. So all these things you never think about. So that is the most important thing, the character. You may be very, very smart, you may be very, very rich, but your character is really hopeless in the sense that the person is really hard-hearted, no compassion for people, no kindness, very stingy, selfish, right? Cruel even. So can you say the fellow is very successful? I don't think so. In fact, he will not be happy really. That's why you see so many people may have the wealth, may have the qualifications of university, but still having psychiatric problems. Whereas I have not heard of any monks or nuns who are doing very well to develop the mind and character. I've not heard of them having mental trouble going to Tanjung Rambutan or this. I really have not heard, because they are placing importance in the right direction of developing the mind and the character. So the important lessons that experience teaches find is character, right? That will determine really true success and true happiness and peace. I can add that also. And not your worldly things, possessions, or even your intellectual capability, smartness, cleverness. And worst thing, some of these people, they use in the wrong way and get a lot of wealth and fame. Political power, no, they get this position, not in the honest way, very smart and cunning. Do you say that they are successful? On the surface, say, yeah, wow, the place, the minister, everything, but you don't know behind all the dirty things and the corruption. All right, so that's one thing you have to note. Now let us go on to the next slide. And the next slide is number 21 already, coming to the end already. Character is the indelible mark that determines the only true value of all people and all their work. Indelible means it cannot be erased off. Very true. Because associated with character will be the moral values, the good karma that you have, that you generate. And these you cannot erase. These are your true treasures. While your true treasures, that's the karma that you have. The Dhamma that you practice and realize. That is your true wealth, cannot be erased, cannot be taken from you, unlike the other things like your worldly possessions, your house, your money, or even your property, your shares, or even your loved ones, all these, they are not indelible mark, They can be taken away from you, especially when you pass away. You cannot take any of this. You only take with you the things pertaining to character, moral values, the Dhamma that you have learned, practiced, and realized, and the good karma. That's all. So then wow, really, that's the only true value of all people. The real wealth, your real possession. Very, very powerful Dhamma teaching here that you have to reflect. So I just put this animation so that you won't be so boring. Now let us go on to the last slide already. We'll pass 1 hour already. The last slide, I just sum up this thing. Develop your character diligently. Character has to be developed, like learning, understanding the Dhamma, thinking about it, reflecting it, putting into practice. That requires hard work, So that's why you have diligence. That's why Chief Reverend, I think one of the monks who passed away, very, very famous monk, he said, Dhamma is not for the lazy people. You have to work at it. Some people think that, never mind, I pray, I'll be safe. And some people say, you write your name in this temple, then you go to heaven. I don't buy all those things. It's something that you have to work for it, isn't it? Can you get success and get all the A's by just sitting and praying? If you don't do any work, you're going to fail. No amount of praying is going to let you get all the A's if you don't do your work and work hard, isn't it? So that's why I wrote, develop your character diligently with hard work industry. You will then live happily and peacefully. Your mind will be at ease, peaceful, happy, not only in this life, but from life to life, until you become enlightened, an Arahant or a Buddha. So I sum up by just these 2 lines for you to reflect. So now, before we say sadhu 3 times, right, I would like to take this opportunity, or I would like to say thank you and sadhu to all the students, particularly the secondary school students and the Dhamma class students, and also college, university students, all youth members, and then the parents, grandparents who are guiding the young, and also the teachers of the Dhamma classes. So to all of you, thank you very much, and sadhu for taking time to follow this long discussion on the topic of character. So may you all be well, happy, and peaceful. So let us now put our palms together and say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. Take care.